Know your worth. Know your worth. Know your value. You know, know your boundaries. Know your limits. Know what you're willing to deal with and what you're willing to take and what you're just simply not. You know what I'm saying? That's literally what it's coming down to with everything and everyone on every level. Intimate, platonic, mutual, however you want to look at it. There's too much other things going on out here and too many other things to be concerned about and to be thinking about than to be uncertain about anything or anyone at any time. You know, a lot of people are out here searching and looking for something to feel some type of fulfillment, some type of satisfaction, but it's just, you're never going to find it until you're happy with yourself, happy alone. You're never going to find it until you're confident alone, motivated alone, inspired alone, understanding, comprehensive while being alone. It's not until you are those things at peace alone. You know, it's not until you're those things that you're going to really truly find what it is you're looking for out here. And you have to understand what your passions are. You got to understand your passions. You got to understand what it is that you love to do, what it is you like to do, what it is that gets you going, gets your blood boiling, gets your gears turning. Because if you don't, man, you're gonna be just as lost as everybody else out here. You're gonna be just as corrupt and indecisive and unloyal, disrespectful, unfaithful, spiteful, just as much as everybody else out here, man. And that's not a way you want to be. It's not a way you want to live. It's a lot of hurt and pain. You know, everybody's in their feelings and emotional. Like I stated before, I think we are in a huge emotional mental crisis right now. And it can be a very dangerous time. You know, if you're not aware, if you're not out the way, what do we do? What's the solution? What do we turn to? Who do we turn to? What's actually going to penetrate and break this cycle of things that's happening and been happening? You know, what's actually going to penetrate and break this trend, this pattern that we've been so programmed to and accustomed to for so many years? You know, just what is it? What is it going to take? What is it going to be? Our poor children, our poor children. I want so bad for our children to be safe, be secure, loved, nurtured, attended to. I want so bad for our kids to come up unlike we did. You know, it's like I want so bad want so bad for our kids to come up differently and come up better, happier, healthier, safer. It's like I want so bad for our kids to be able to experience things on a higher level, a higher frequency than we did. It's like there's things that we saw and experienced and had to endure that our kids shouldn't have to. And that's not necessarily just, speaking money or financially, but also just emotionally and psychologically and mentally. And, it's nothing better. There's nothing that fulfills you more than seeing a happy child. There's nothing that satisfies you more than seeing a happy, smiling, laughing child of any age. And if that's something that we could get back to, if that's something that we can start at the root ground base of, I think a lot can change, man. For our youth and for our future. Everyone, all the adults are just so damaged, so traumatized and bitter and stuck in their ways, but the kids don't have to grow up and be that way. We don't have to pass that down to our kids. We don't have to show that amongst ourselves, while setting the example, setting the bar, and reflecting on the kids. Children, they're such a blessing. It's almost like they're a new beginning and a second chance at life. What I'm noticing, especially, it's something that should be shared with someone special. Having a child with someone is something that should be very, very special and very, what do you say, unforgettable, memorable moments and experiences that you're blessed to experience with someone else that means a lot to you, that you love. Having a child with someone has got to be one of the most intimate, fulfilling, loving things you can do, I think. That's why it's so hard for me to just understand sometimes how so many people can just have a child and just walk away and turn their backs. It's interesting. I couldn't imagine not being around my child. Really. Kids are so precious and so innocent. And they're like sponges. They really are like sponges. They watch our every move. They literally try and repeat and copy everything. Everything, like little robots, man. It's such a sensitive thing. Such a sensitive, fragile thing. And I'm so sorry that so many kids are not receiving the right kind of love and nurturing from both parents. I'm so sad that so many kids are out here fatherless and lost and confused and unloved and so deprived of love. And searching for love. I'm hoping the internet doesn't ruin the world. I'm hoping the younger generations can figure out a way to bring some type of unity, peace, and love and harmony to the world through the internet. Because I feel like there's no sense of that anymore because of just how things are and how things been and how we've been just so conditioned and programmed to be divided and independent. One day I see myself in Africa, yo. Just living abundantly with my family. And just watching the generations grow and prosper, elevate and succeed. I don't want my kids to really... I'm not sure if I want my kids to know this American life, you know? I'm trying to set it up to where they'll be able to vicariously experience it through me and what I had to go through and what I had to deal with here. But it's like, I want them to one day see, like, wow, you know, Dad sacrificed and did everything he can to get us to Africa and to give us a better life. So we don't even have to experience and know that way of life. Like, of course, I'm going to educate them on their history, their roots, and everything else. But once it's all said and done, they will understand and definitely know why Daddy did what he had to do to get us away from this kind of life to a much more safer, secure way of life, you know? Because the longer I'm here, the more I'm starting to see that so many of our people that are here, descendants of Africa, that are here in the United States, we're so brainwashed and we're so lost when it comes to knowing who we are, how we got here and why we're here and everything else, that I'm not sure if anything is ever going to change. In fact, it may just get worse. W.B. Du Bois, he had the same philosophy and thoughts and mentality that I'm speaking on now, and kind of lost hope and faith in the American dream, and actually moved to Ghana and lived out the rest of his days there. A lot of people don't know that, but it's almost like, how can you not feel that way? How can any sane black man in his right mind not feel that way about the United States? You know? And, you know, we go on and on every day. We wake up and here like everything is normal and everything is the same, but it's not. And when things really do hit the fan here and things really do change here, I'm not sure if I'm going to want. I don't want myself or my family to experience that. And whatever's going to go down here, whatever's going to happen here, I don't want to know, and I don't want to be around to find out. When things happened at the pandemic, the way things went down with the pandemic, the way people conducted themselves and started acting over groceries, over sneezing and coughing, over social distancing, oh man, it was a mess. It was a mess. And I just couldn't believe that so many people here, especially, just had such a lack of grace for each other. You know what I'm saying? It was more of like a survival thing than a grace and helpful thing amongst one another. It's like you didn't have to worry about a disease killing you, because if you would have sneezed a little too much, too close to someone, they would have probably shot you. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it's like that was the mindset and the mentality people had for one another. That was the lack of patience and the lack of grace that people literally had for one another. And I just don't feel like it was like that in other places. You know what I'm saying? It's like in other places, I feel like when tragedy strikes or when bad things happen, like they come together, like it's a community thing. Like people come together, people help each other. And I just don't feel like it's like that here, man. You know, it's like it's like everyone here is really programmed and stuck in this survival, kill or be killed mentality. And I feel like that's going to be very detrimental for us soon here in the future. There's ways of life in Africa that, for black people, that we only can dream of here. But they don't want you to know that. They don't want us to know that. I can't emphasize that enough. I mention that all the time. They don't want us to know the kind of life we could have if we actually went back to Africa. Do you not understand that our ancestors who were brought here, kidnapped, brought here through the Middle Passage, and actually made it here to the United States? First of all, so many people don't even realize, I'm going to back up even more. So many people don't even realize what it meant to actually make it through the Middle Passage and make it to the United States. Do you know that there's over 1 million bodies? There's over 1 million African slave bodies in the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean is nothing but a cemetery for African descendants bodies who were kidnapped, bonded, chained, tortured, starved, deprived on a ship. So much blood would be at the bottom of the ships that you would literally see sharks following the ship. Crewmates and ship crews, crew members would actually take those little telescopes and look out into the water and see shark fins following the ship, because there was so much blood and human bodily fluids and remains at the bottom of the boat amongst the slaves who were chained literally together, side by side, elbow to elbow. And this is the life that so many slaves had to endure, and so many slaves didn't make it through that, didn't survive that. At the ports and at the docks, at slave imports in the United States and in the Caribbean and South America, you would literally smell the ships before you could see them. You could actually smell them. You could actually smell the ships before you've seen them, miles away. And it's like, that's just unbearable. That's hard to even think about. And just imagining the condition of the slaves once they actually did arrive to shore, once they actually did get off the boat. So the black people that the African descendants that you see in the United States are actually a product of survival and resilience and the most impeccable level of endurance that you could imagine on the face of the earth. We're actually living, breathing, seeing products of that. But so many of us don't know that. So many of us think that we just started from slavery and that we need white people to do everything for us and we need to rely on white people for everything. We think that we were programmed and brainwashed to believe that Abraham Lincoln is our savior. We were programmed and brainwashed to believe that slavery was a Christian way of life and in the Bible, and that God wanted us to be slaves. We were programmed and brainwashed to believe that. So it's like when you put all of that into account, you take all that into account, and you fast forward to modern day today, it's like it's no wonder all of our leaders were killed, all of our leaders were assassinated. It's no wonder all of our businesses and Wall Streets and all of our prominent, prestigious endeavors were destroyed, bombed, destructed, demolished. We were in the Middle East for years trying to defend citizens of their own homeland and their own country from being killed, bombed, and assassinated. We were in the Middle East doing that when the same thing was happening here and been happening here right at home to black people, to African descendants. The same thing. There's so much that we as a people don't want to acknowledge. First and foremost, individually and about ourselves, that's keeping us stagnant, that's keeping us down, that's keeping us stuck. And this is why nothing changes for us and why nothing is happening for us and why no one respects us and why everyone stereotypes us and profiles us. Because they see us, they look at us, and they think they are dealing with what they see on TV. They think they're dealing with what they hear in the music. They think they're dealing with what they see in the athletics and in the movies and in the jails, this is what they think they're dealing with. But this is because of how we choose to conduct ourselves, how we choose to carry ourselves, how we choose to spend our money, how we choose to invest, how we choose to stay financially illiterate, how we choose to stay traumatized. We refuse to heal, rehabilitate, recover. So many of us are still walking around with so many hidden traumas and hidden wounds from our childhood and our upbringing, so much so that we don't even realize we're walking around with the same childish levels of emotional intelligence that's self-destructive and destructing and destroying everything outside of us, from relationships to jobs, careers, health. And we don't even realize it, and we don't even see it. We pollute our minds and our bodies with the wrong music, the wrong TV shows, the wrong movies, pornography. We pollute our bodies with the wrong foods. We pollute our bodies with alcohol. And this, there should be balance to everything. There should be balance to everything. There should be balance to everything we do, everything we indulge in and experience, and everything that everyone that we deal with, even people. There should be balance with people. There's certain patterns and ways of life that we need to start to practice, just to be better for our future, just to be better for our children, just to be better overall.